good point. And maybe on that issue, because I also know that maybe the one-on-one aide doesn't want to ask questions in front of the parent. I also recognize that. But there could be a forum for that, where now they know the WESELPA staff, they could call Joan independently and do that in private. As a matter of fact, like Martina said, most of these things are done lecture style. The effective ones, I mean the ones where you get 800 people going, because I've been to an OT training that was 800 people in attendance, and I'm a parent, but I want to know how to help my daughter at home and how to implement those same strategies. And I learned a lot, and I didn't speak not even once, which is hard to believe. But, you know, that's the forum. I mean, you train all these people, you give them the information, and at least you give them resources where they can get more. So, but basically equal access is the thought.
I'd just like to clarify, Rita, I think you did misunderstand my comment in that, you know, that parents should go out to other parent organizations. Because initially I had indicated that it would be very effective if it's in relation to your child and their one-to-one, for you to be part of that training, and the program specialist, when they're there doing the training, would welcome parents. So, you know, the reference to, you know, kind of that parent information sheet, what I'd like my teacher to know, was just kind of as an example.
And then I had one last question if we're done with that
well,
topic.
Then it's my turn.
Okay, of course, Mr. Atwood. I mean, Peter. So, is the CAC survey the same as the CD self-review survey, Joan, that you were referencing, or are they two different things?
They're two different things.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Martin.
All right, well, it all sort of leads up to me. As far as the self-review thing is concerned, there's the details, and then there's the underlying problem. The last time the self-review was done, a couple things happened. First off, nobody who had a beef was asked for their opinion, because if they had been, at least we would have known about some of these parents. So the self-review was manipulated in such a fashion that only the happy people were asked for their input. Now, that may not be absolutely true, but it's pretty true. If you ran an election like that, it would be considered fraudulent anywhere. Saddam Hussein and Bashar al-Assad would have loved it. I mean, it was just not okay. Now, it's okay, certainly, if you want to look good, but it's not okay if you actually want to find out what needs to be fixed. These are simply mutually exclusive goals. Either you want to look good, or you want to find out how to make things work. But you can't decide to pursue both of those goals. And the last time, there's no question that the self-review was all about making things look as good as possible, regardless of what reality was. We have a lot of money, being spent, and we don't have a lot of money to spend. So if things are going to work, we actually have to find out what's wrong. And that means we need an honest self-review process, which is not what we got 3 years ago at all. And so the basic problem behind all this, which is also, it's seen in a number of other places, is that the CAC is seen by the self-administration as something which is supposed to tell the self-administration and the superintendents what the self-administration wants them to be told. But the proper purpose for a CAC is that it should report what the community actually has to say and what the community is having a problem with. That's why the word community is in there. And that's even if the community is having problems. And that sort of change in focus would do a whole lot more to avoid due process hearings and other kinds of problems than spending more money for ADR. I'm not against spending more money for ADR. But if you're spending more money for ADR on one hand, and you're doing everything possible to keep the superintendents from knowing what the story is, on the other, you're not serious about actually working with the community in order to reduce problems. And why not get serious? You don't like educate, advocate, and that's okay. We're not that likable people, because we're not trying to be likable. We're trying to, we're trying to advocate for our kids, and you're not going to like that. I mean, it's just, the kid doesn't like to do homework, and you guys don't like us advocating for our kids, and that's fine. No, we don't have a problem with that feeling at all. But, although you don't like us, you do need us in order to get your job done, just like the kid needs to eat his broccoli and do his homework. So, we're not going to be mean or anything else, but we really, if you're smart, if you don't want to have needless problems, you're not going to do, like the rating agency saying that all that mortgage junk was actually AAA, because the next news you know, there's a lot of bankruptcies. Well, let's see if we can get honest reviews and an honest effort to get input even from people you don't like much. Because, we'll work with you and we'll like you better if you don't make us fight about everything anyway. I mean, we're not that
You looked at me
bad.
when you said that.
Huh?
You looked at me when you said people we don't like much.
Oh, I'm not looking at you. I was just looking around the room. What do you want? You want to exclude you or something? Can you not?
Looking at everything.
Besides, you're prettier than Joe. Why can't I look at you?
Oh, how could you not like me already? Come on. No, I'm just kidding.
Right, so am I. So I'm
I'm
done.
calling Mr. Atwood too.
Mr. Atwood.
Yes.
Okay, now we're getting to the business action items, and the first one will be the officer election for chairperson.
We need nominations first, and once we get nominations out, right?
Do we have any nominations for chairperson?
There must be somebody.
Would you like to nominate anybody for chairperson?
I thought you were the nominee.
I'm the chairperson-elect, because the chairperson is Kum Kum, but she hasn't been reappointed for Chino Valley yet. And she will, her board meeting is until Thursday. So I'm the chairperson-elect, so I have to take over when she's.
I know, it's confusing because last year, I'm like, why do we have a chair-elect, a vice chair, and a chairperson? I don't know. And it's not, in some systems, like some organizations I joined, you move up the chairs, from the treasurer to secretary to vice chair to chair. That's not structured each year. The way it's structured every 2 years, we nominate new people. And the duty, I think,
It does, if you turn to your agenda packet, the description of
the duties were in there.
Yeah. Tells you what,
We have 2 positions available, but the whole board is not here, and people who haven't even been elected are not sitting with us to nominate.
Yeah, right, but the chairperson has to go ahead and write out the agenda and make sure that all these duties are followed. And I know we haven't had a quorum since April.
Right. Normally, we would have done this too at our annual meeting in May, and unfortunately, there wasn't a quorum at the very end of the year.
In April or May.
It's kind of a busy time. Plus, I think, it may be, we just need to look at maybe realigning our meeting times with our school district start time, because this kind of system got put in place when school started in September and ended in June. Most of our districts have moved that up a month, although there still are a few holdouts. They're nodding their heads. So, even ourselves I know when I'm trying to address some of the mental health issues, our first governance meeting isn't until September, and really August will be a better time to address these things. So, we also, you can move to table the item if you want to wait till,
Well,
there are more appointees, more members.
I
Because, I mean, you're already the chair-elect, you're already the vice chair. Doesn't leave a whole lot of you. I mean, Marcel just got here.
There's a lot of people who've been involved for a long time that know more about the works and what's going in and out who aren't here. And you're brand new, and I'm barely, almost new.
Yeah, you just started last year. So.
You've been here a year.
But knowing that you're interested, I'd be
Mm-hmm.
So there's a motion and a second.
I was told
Oops.
So was that a unanimous vote?
It's not that it wasn't a call for the vote yet.
Oh, okay. Because
There's
there's
nominations.
a nomination
They do a,
and two people.
we do a closed ballot vote.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Are you even allowed to do that? I don't think you are under the Brown Act.
Yeah, I don't think you're allowed
You're
to
not
do
allowed
it.
to do that under the Brown Act.
Yeah,
There's
you're
certain
not.
things you can do in private, like litigation and things like that, and employee evaluation.
Yeah, he's
Electing
right.
officers is one thing you cannot do in private.
Well, no, I mean,
Not
that's,
electing the officers in private.
no,
You're not
last year,
allowed.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do a closed
someone
out.
nominated for chairperson election.
You're not allowed to take secret ballots. The
There-
law Brown Act
he's
is very
right.
specific about that.
He's right. That would be a closed session. You can't do a secret ballot.
So just
When I
do
was
it.
a citizen, but I know, when I was chairperson election,
Yeah, you have to.
There's only 4 of them.
Say aye.
Of the nomination or the appointment? Or the
the
other?
appointment.
You gotta open nominations, close them.
Okay,
And
I
then-
open nominations, Sylvia nominated me, and Mr.
Any
Strand.
other nominations from the floor?
Any other nominations from the board?
Hearing none.
Hearing none, it's closed, and now, does everybody vote?
And now you can add on.
All in favor?
Yeah.
All, any opposed? So, the nomination,
So Martinez, the new chair.
sorry, I'm the So
Thank
now
you,
we're going
Mr.
to go
Outwood.
ahead and open nominations for secretary. And there's a brief description of what the duties are. And is there any nominations for secretary?
And people can even nominate themselves, right?
Right.
To be clear.
Um,
There's only 4 of you.
Who likes to take notes?
I do. I love to take notes.
Okay.
Good.
You nominating yourself then?
Sharon nominates herself.
All right.
Second?
Second.
Any other nominations for secretary? Okay, now we close the nominations for secretary. And now all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, so now we have a new secretary.
All right. Martina, I have a question about this. So I wanted to find out who then now is the chair-elect and the vice chair, or is there still those other 2 positions, or what's going on?
Sylvia continues to be the vice chair for another year, so that, half the office, it's supposed to set up so half the officers change each year. So, the 2-year terms are staggered.
Okay.
We will have to have an item at the next meeting for the
It should
chair.
have been on this time. It should have been on
Because
this
that
time.
now has
The
become
chair-elect.
vacancy since Martina can't hold 2 offices.
And can we do it for the chair-elect and not a vice president? I mean, or do you have to change the bylaws?
You have to change the bylaws.
Yeah, you have to change it. So, the duties are those described in the bylaws. So basically, the chair-elect serves if the chair is absent, or if the chair appoints them to, as a ex officio member of a committee, because the chair probably doesn't want to be the ex officio of every committee.
So what's the function of the chair?
They serve
Do
in
they
the
all have
absence of
copies
the
of the bylaws?
chairperson, similar to maybe a vice chair might be in.
Martina, I have another comment. Do all the members have copies of the CAC bylaws? Because all the descriptions are in there.
Yeah, they're in their handbooks, but some people.
Oh, you